Reflect back to your childhood with me for a moment. How many families did you know who had a kid with a disability or delay? One? Maybe two? Now let's fast forward to now. Now how many families do you know? Maybe your family's been impacted, or a friend. Either way, I'm willing to bet if I was to survey this entire room, that number from your childhood has doubled, maybe even tripled for some. Hello, my name is Kiana Mayweather, and today I stand before you to present you the opportunity to invest in my company, Connect the Tots Playcare and Kids Outpatient Therapy Center. A little bit about myself. I've been an occupational therapist for almost 10 years. I've been working with the teeny tiny babies all the way up through geriatrics. I've done hospitals, outpatient, home health, and many other arenas. I've even had the experience of working with a company starting their occupational therapy department from the ground floor. Enough about myself, now let's get back to business. In my target area, 40% of the population are under the age of 21. Out of that 571,000 kids, these are a few statistics that show just how many kids are being diagnosed with a disability or delay every single year. While these are a few common diagnoses, one diagnosis that has become very prevalent over the last few decades, and I'm sure most of you have heard of it, that's autism spectrum disorder. Back in 2000, 1 in 150 kids were diagnosed with autism. Now, 1 in 45 kids are being diagnosed with autism every single year. So as you can see, that number is growing and growing and growing. I've had the opportunity to work with many families, many kids over the years. And while working with these families, I noticed a common theme. At least one parent has been forced to leave the workforce in order to take care of them. And through discussions and talking with them, I learned that they just don't trust or don't feel it's safe to put that kid who needs a little bit more care in a traditional child care setting. Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, I have a solution. With a $350,000 investment, Connect the Tots will not only work to solve those problems, but we will work to restore faith back to those families in the child care system. Connect the Tots will act as a one-stop shop, bridging the gap between child care and outpatient. For our child care segment, we will service kids with or without disabilities from 6 weeks up to 4 years of age. And for outpatient, we will service kids from 6 weeks up until 21. Now, kids not enrolled in child care, they will have a totally separate entryway. Our team will consist of the director, office staff, kitchen staff, nurses, therapists, teachers, level 1 and 2, and a really strong marketer. Connect the Tots is unique in design by offering in-house occupational therapy, physical therapy, and speech therapy. Our therapies will work to get in-network to accept TMHP Medicaid, Parkland, Cooks, and several other insurances. This will decrease the fluctuation of the reimbursement schedule. The fourth dimension of our unique design is in-house nursing. Now this is the kicker. In-house nursing will not only allow us to provide medication, but it's what allows us to take those higher level need kids because they're going to need G-tube feedings or tracheostomy care. Our target area is the HEB Tarrant County community. We'll be searching for a freestanding building with a minimum space requirement of 10,230 square feet. We will market to doctor's offices, hospitals, other clinics, and many other channels in order to get our face and our name out in the community. That's where that marketer comes in. Our competitor is Our Children's. It's nonprofit, and as you can see, it's located east and north of our target area. But their focus is just kids with disabilities. We are looking to have a mixed environment. Again, I'm seeking $350,000 for a 20% stake in my company, and the company is valued at $1.75 million. The $350,000 will be used for marketing, securing a location, equipment and supplies, salaries, and just overall development of the company. For our investor, we are expected to reach profitability by month 5. We will then pay out a 20% dividend Back to our investor. I have developed a pricing strategy that has a sliding scale that breaks down each class segment, infant, toddler, toddler 2, down to low needs, moderate needs, and high needs. Now this scale will allow us to service and afford the kids who have higher needs, while also remaining competitive in the market for the traditional child care segment. By the end of year 2, we should reach 100% capacity in our child care, play care segment. And by year 3, we will look to raise our prices of our first center, open a second center, and then we will also look at franchise options. In order for Connected Tots to reach this level of success, all I need is just one yes. So who's willing to connect with me? And let's give back quality of life to our community, one family at a time. Thank you for your time.
Why are you addressing just the average child care if your competitive advantage is for disabilities?
Repeat that, please.
So you said you'll take with or without,
Yes, ma'am.
but your specialty will be with disabilities. What's the reasoning to take everyone?
Well, most kids, first of all, you learn from being around other kids. And if you separate them and segregate them only with kids with disabilities, there's things and moments that they could be learning from a kid who's typically developing. So we want to encompass all of our kids in the area and not just say, oh, I'm just for disabled kids. No, we want all kids, because even with a typical developing child, there are things that they can learn. Maybe that kid's just writing backwards. Something simple that we can catch in a facility like this. Thank you. Yes.
What are some of the risks associated with this? Are there insurance, special types of insurance or special types of licenses that you have to be able to service this wide spectrum of children?
Risk would be just like any business. There's always a business risk. As far as licensing goes, what we do is you have the child care licensing fees, and I have that already broken down into the expenses, as well as just the child care segment has to have a separate license. Otherwise, you're good to go. And you, of course, would be registered with Outpatient overseeing body. That would be it.
As the needs of the children that you bring on board change from year to year, you have to change your staff always to meet the needs of those children.
We have already built in, and if I may, let's see, this one. So this one shows how many kids of each one we will take, and we will also be looking to keep that ratio pretty even of typical and maybe the kids who have the disabilities. We want to keep our ratio below 50% of kids who need that. And so we have the teacher ratio over here at the end. So it's 4-1. It's just following the guidelines of Texas.
But there would be specific staff that you would have to have if you have children with specific needs.
Well, that's where nursing comes in. For those special specific needs, that's where the therapists come in. So if I see this kid, I'm working with them with therapy, I know that they need a break every now and then and they need the sensory integration room. That therapist or that nursing staff member can take them into that room to get a break, if that answers your question. Okay.
You have a really, really high overhead. Have you explored parking in a different spot, like Ronald McDonald House or some other facility? I know that's random. So your overhead, based on your business plan, so I know not everybody in the room saw that, but your $350, a lot of it is going to salaries,
Right.
facility, hiring a cook. Have you explored other options to where you don't have to fund all of that?
Well, of course, you have loans, you have other opportunities. I have not looked at a Ronald McDonald House. It's definitely an option, something to look at. So far, I've just been looking at loans, investor options. Yes.
Have you seen this done in any other area of the country?
Well, there's my exact format of business, no. But we do have our children's who's doing specifically kids with disabilities. You have the traditional, they will accept, like maybe a kid has just a delay they'll take them. And I've actually been in some of the traditional childcare settings and worked with kids in therapy. But to the level of what I'm trying to do of merging the two markets, that's my niche area and what I see as an opportunity. Thank you.